My name is Hemant Oberoi and I am a chef. The thing I know best is cooking, so I try to spread joy through my food. I want not only the taste of food to capture imaginations, but also the sound, the look, the feel, and the scent. That's what motivates me to experiment with the food. Now, people's expectation from me has reached sky high. Most of the times, I don't disappoint. But there are times in my life where even my skills were tested to its limits. Those times when I was asked to cook for internationally traveled connoisseurs of food and styles, celebrities, who are used to the best and the finest. What could one cook for them has indeed been a challenge. That's when I had to dive into my innermost creativity and outdo even my best. It's in these circumstances that I have come out with some of my most celebrated dishes. So let me share my experiences and journeys into some of my most iconic dishes. Traveling to me is a knowledge expedition. For me, whenever I've traveled to different parts of the world, it has given me so much of insight of the place, so much of a knowledge. I've traveled to almost 80 plus countries in the world, and every country has given me a different spark. And every time I visit that country, again, there's something new coming up. For me, one spark is good enough from each place to take it forward. About 3 years back, I was traveling through Dubai. And when I flipped through one of the in-house magazines, I see something about the Arabic cuisine, culture. Suddenly I come across 2-3 different shawarmas in each country, in Syria, in Lebanon, in the Middle East, other areas. And a couple of years back, the same story I had read and I had converted that into a vegetarian shawarma. And this time when I was traveling, I said, if everything can be done, why can't we think in terms of doing a chocolate shawarma or a desert shawarma? When I came back, I started thinking, how do I put? If I put just the chocolate slab on a shawarma machine, it's going to melt. People are going to say, what is the difference between this and fondue? Tried out on the bigger shawarma machine, little bit padding between the chocolate slabs. Still, it was not working out. Then finally, after a month or so, we realized that's something more to hold on. So we had to take the different sponge and in between we had to put few layers of chocolate, and we tried it out. Came out with good results. Then it gave me the idea this can be developed. needs a little more cocoa powder.
Cocoa powder?
Just increase by about 2% more.
Okay.
I thought today's word is showmanship. How to present it differently? Let it go next to the guest table. If I can achieve that, it'll be wonderful. For me, the biggest challenge was making the machine by itself. In fact, from the cardboard, I made a prototype. I said, I want this with a gas cylinder behind, small gas cylinder. Can you make something like this? There are not many vendors in India who wanted to come ahead and say, okay, we will do it. I was on one of my visits a couple of months back to London. In one of the showrooms, I saw a roti sol. It's for making roast chickens. I saw that and I said, this probably is the one. We ordered for a piece, got the piece here. Only we had to alter the rods and everything. Got it made, changed it, it worked. See, it's sticky. How will it ever hold the shawarma? Do you understand what I want? This is the shawarma I'm looking at. This is the actual shawarma. My whole concept is that it must be able to hold it. The base has to be thicker, not this way. This is a meat shawarma, and this is the base I want. And if it is so sticky, you're not going to have it. You see, it is the question of a flour. It is a question of a whipping, incorporation of air, right temperatures of oven, and the ingredients. It matters a lot on the ingredients. See, it's sticky. How will it ever hold the shawarma? Do you understand what I want? This is the shawarma I'm looking at. This is the actual shawarma. My whole concept is that it must be able to hold it. The base has to be thicker. And if it is so sticky, you're not going to have it. I think you'll redo it so that we get a proper sponge, a nice sponge which is, and once the chocolate melts into the sponge, it should be able to absorb it. This will never absorb, I can tell you that. For me, a best sponge is when it is really a good sponge, that anything you put on it, it absorbs it. It's not that it just flows down, it is so dense that it just flows down. This is better. This is better. Still, it can be better than this. We need a little more spongy. So that, you know, the whole process is that this must melt on top of this.
That's right.
Once the machine is ready, you will get the even heat from,
Yes.
it will rotate, you will get the even heat. We tried out with the darker sponge, the plain sponge and the lighter sponge. And because I am using the bitter chocolate, the milk chocolate and the white chocolate. So I wanted all three to be differently flavored. Indians have a sweet tooth, but yet people are graduating to that bitter chocolate experience. So I had to cater for the milk chocolate people and the white chocolate and the bitter chocolate, all three in a different way. We wanted a Oreo and nutty kind of a taste, but we didn't want overburnt. in which people should, it's become too bitter. So that was a challenge initially. But then we overcame, after a lot of trials and everything, we overcame the whole thing and it worked very well. And you're getting the most beautiful looking chocolate dessert. It's just melting in your mouth. It gets a little burnt flavor. The chocolate is melting. And we created a rose petal ice cream to go with that. Morning, dear.
Good morning, sir.
Morning.
I was thinking of making the rose petal ice cream using the fresh rose petals.
See what I got for you. See them. These basically I got it from Kerala. And there's one place in Kerala where they have the special rose petal, which is the variety only for food grade. And this got the best aroma. I think this will work very well. I don't think we should use that.
Sure.
In the entire Middle East, if you see, everything to do with good flavors of rose petals, whether it's in the form of tea, whether it's in the form of a dessert, or in the form of, they like strong flavors. So when in the initial stages I was working on it, we started with a very reduced flavors. I just wanted the essence to be felt. But then I realized that people wanted a little more stronger. So we had to find out and research for the rose petals, which are, one is a edible quality. And then we had to write kind of a preserve we make out of this. And then add into the ice cream mix. Every guest who has come to our HO has enjoyed this dish because it has become like a signature dish of our restaurant. This shawarma trolley keeps on moving from table to table now. And almost like 70% of the tables order this dessert. There have been many examples of whenever I travel, where I've come back and created something different. That's how each and every country gave me one or two inspirations, and which comes back and reflects into the menu. Siphon is a coffee maker. In the olden times, that's the only way the coffee percolator and the coffee was being made. If you go and see, there was a burner down, water boiling, it'll go up, the coffee beans, roasted coffee beans were powdered and put on top, and up and down 3 times it goes, and the coffee was being brewed and coffee came down, and coffee was served directly from there. Bajaj kettle keeps water hot and steaming for a long time. When I saw this, I said, why can't we use this into food? And I came and did a lot of experiments with this. First 2 times it was like a failure. So sometimes the stocks will go up once and it will not come down. Sometimes it will happen that stocks won't even go up because it was too thick. So I had to wonder, whether what kind of a filter, what kind of a holes to make in the strainers on top, So we had to vary this. So for about 2-3 months, kept on experimenting. When I was experimenting with the fish stock, I realized that even the fish stock, a lot of Indians might not love it. They want still not very strong flavored soups or stocks. They want a milder version. They want little spiciness in their food. So that is the time the idea came that Rassam is also very clear soup. It's a tomato extract, it's got the spices, and then I'm very particularly fond of lemongrass and makrut leaves. So I put little of lemongrass and little of the makrut leaves. And the flavors which came out was so refreshing. I don't want to put too much of hing or anything into this. We'll do the vegetarian part first. This is just the tempering I'll show you. And we'll make the base. And then we'll convert that into the vegetarian rasam.
Yes.
I was a bit careful when I was doing the rasam part of it. I did not want to temper it too strongly. I wanted the rasam to be little lighter and flavorful. That's why we brought the lemongrass sticks into this. And I don't want it to be overspiced. So it's only after about 40-50 trials we achieved our target. When it comes to the vegetarians, they want to eat exotic vegetables. How you cook it, that is up to you. The whole idea worked when I tried it with the seafood. The freshness of the seafood, the right way it is cooked, 2 or 3 times the stock goes up and comes down. And that seafood, when you eat it, it's amazing. It's mind-boggling to eat. What you can do is remove the shells totally and cut the dals, slices, not very thick, thin slices. Peel and devein the prawns. Keep it whole, no tail, nothing, no shells. Cut this into smaller cubes. I'm putting the prawns, the lobsters, the fish and the scallops. And the best way to cook the seafood is cook it the least way, least timings, so that the flavors are retained. So with the 3 steamings, when it goes up, and in 3 times all the seafood is cooked, and it still remains the crunchy, and we serve 2 dips with it, and people dip it, the seafood into the dressings, eat it, and then afterwards they drink the rasam. I think it's amazing. It's amazing flavors coming. When we experiment any kind of food or any kind of dish, we give it to all the chefs and the managers to taste. I look at their expressions more than anything else. If their expressions are satisfactory and they want more, we have achieved everything. Because that's a palate which is going to absorb it and sell it. So that's very, very essential that we have a unanimous kind of agreement to every dish.